As we get closer and closer to the release date of Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, and after seeing all the new footage from Gamescom 2024, we've all been discussing both good things and bad things from what we've seen, but we're also eagerly waiting for new updates and information regarding the game. Well, it just so happens that we just got a new interview from the producer of Sparking Zero himself, Jun Furutani, and he talked about some very interesting things regarding the game, some of which, especially one thing in particular, are things that people have been worrying about a lot online, and we're going to cover that and everything else regarding the interview in this video. I'm your boy Kaizen, like, subscribe, and let's get into the video. So firstly, as I started to read this article, and by the way, the article is very, I don't want to say bloated, but there was a lot of unnecessary talk. It wasn't just the interview itself, there was talks about the game itself, and so that you don't have to read through it, I'm just going to cover the key parts of the article and what you need to know about it. So firstly, as I started reading, it mentioned Dragon Ball GT and Ariel, and I was like, wait, what? There's no way that Furutani just casually name dropped Dragon Ball GT. I mean, if he did, we'd all be going crazy. Well, that wasn't part of what he said. That was just in the article itself. So of course, as I carried on reading, I finally went on to what Furutani himself talked about. And the first thing he talked about was a big thing, and that was regarding the technical limitations of the game, particularly regarding local multiplayer, and of course the destructive maps and all that stuff. Because if you don't know, we do have destructive maps to ensure that it's an immersive Dragon Ball experience, because that's what they're going for this game, and that's what Tenkaichi is known for. But if you didn't know, we originally weren't gonna have local multiplayer in this game, but because of us as fans asking for it, and obviously because that's what Tenkaichi was known for back in the day, local multiplayer, they gave in and added it to the game. But because of limitations, it's only in the hyperbolic time chamber, because that map is so easy for them compared to the other maps. They don't have to worry about destruction so much. It's, you know, it's the time chamber, it's plain white, and they don't have to worry about these sort of things on online. And some of the issues with this he mentioned were like locking onto your target. That's a big issue with local multiplayer if you're in such a destructive and big environment like these maps. Like if you're on one side of the map and your opponent's on the other side, and there's like a destroyed cliff or whatever, a volcano, whatever it is, we've seen what we gain from these maps, it could be very difficult for them to handle. However, based on how he's explained it, it does seem like that's something they're going to work on for the future. And regarding technical limitations, does he mean like, you know, future hardware upgrades like PS5 Pro, PS6 or whatever? Maybe he doesn't mean that, maybe just like further development of the game. I mean, to be fair to them, it's not like they were working on local multiplayer from the get-go. It's very recent, probably within the last 6 months or so, or maybe less than that, because we only knew about the game since what, February 2023, and really they didn't start talking about it properly and telling us more info and revealing more gameplay to us until around late 2023. So that's about it regarding local multiplayer and the technical limitations, but it is nice to see that he is paying attention to that, and it's something that we could see them work on in the future. Now next he talked about the netcode, and this is something that if you're someone who knows you're going to play online a lot, you've probably talked a lot about this, or you care about this, or you've just seen others in the community talk about it, and that is netcode. And basically he was very clear about it. He addressed how everyone loves the idea of rollback netcode. I mean, us fans of online fighting games, we care a lot about netcode, right? Unfortunately, he confirmed for sure that it's not going to be part of this game. But to be honest with you, that's not really shocking. I mean, that's more typical in like a 2D fighting game. I mean, I know fighterz just got it recently. We don't really see it in these arena fighters. But it is what it is. Hopefully it's not bad. It's just that it's not rollback netcode. Now there was one other issue he addressed, but before I go into that, I just want to remind you guys, I am really trying to hit 1000 subs this year. Hopefully by autumn or fall, whatever. So please do hit that subscribe button down below. It's free and you'll be helping me out greatly. But yeah, other than that, let's carry on. Oh, and by the way, the gameplay you see on screen is probably from some other YouTuber, either Intercuba or maybe Rhymestyle or something. Credit to those guys. But yeah, he did address another issue regarding online and offline, well mainly online, and that was when he mentioned that when you're fighting an enemy and you're on like a specific part of the map and then another part of the map, especially against large enemies, there could be an issue, as the camera struggles to frame the scene correctly, making combat difficult to read, and that's the exact quote from the article. But he also said that that shouldn't be an issue in split screen multiplayer mode, because as of right now, it's only in the time chamber, which you're not going to have that issue at all. It's very plain and simple. Also, I don't know if I mentioned this before, he did mention how there was a scene during their gameplay testing or whatever where they were fighting Great Vegeta and he completely disappeared from frame by like hiding in the depths of the lake or behind the mountain and whatnot. And if you're fighting someone like that, they can just hide and just, you know, charge up or whatever. So that could be an issue, but hopefully they can work on it. Next we got great news, a feature that many of us for months have been talking about very quietly because we weren't doubting that it would be part of the game, but we were just waiting for its announcement, and that is Tenkaichi tournament mode. Now I don't know about you guys, but I feel like tournament mode in this day and age will be even more fun than back in the day because of online. Now he was a little bit vague about this, like he didn't go into too much detail, but everything he said was great. So he knows that tournament mode is a pillar of the Tenkaichi series and part of what people loved about it. And he also mentioned how there will be different variations of the tournament mode, each with their own rules, but he didn't go into too much detail. But honestly, the article mentioned this as well. If you just look at Dragon Ball Super and how that has its own tournaments, like 2 different tournaments, it doesn't take a genius to figure out what kind of stuff we could see new from these tournament modes that weren't in Tenkaichi. Now I'm thinking, could we get like a battle royale mode? I know we won't have 100 people or whatever, but could we get like a all at once battle? I don't know if that would be too much, I don't know, but it's a thought. Because just imagine like all those people in the map at once fighting, like the Tournament of Power but to a smaller scale, would be crazy. And with all the new Dragon Ball Super characters, the scale of combat and just the new exciting matchups would go hard. Also, there's the Universe 6 vs Universe 7 tournament, or what, was it a tournament? Yeah, that. Maybe something like that, although that's not too far off from a normal tournament, so yeah. He also briefly mentioned that you'll be able to collect the Dragon Balls, I guess wishing for like getting characters early or something, which is cool. If I'm not mistaken, isn't that part of getting the Ultimate Edition of the game or Special Edition or something? I think so. I'll put it on screen now. But yeah, that was cool. The article also mentioned, like how I mentioned, how we could see something like the Tournament of Universes. The only thing is I just feel like maybe something like that is too big scaled, but they could scale it down. But yeah, it's cool to see that the article mentioned that as well. And by the way guys, if you're waiting for that big thing that everyone's arguing about on Twitter, I'm going to go into that last, but we're almost there now. So just before I go into that, let's talk about Mission 100. So Mission 100 was kind of like a survival mode in the OG Tenkaichi, well I say OG, Tenkaichi 3, and everyone loved that. If I remember correctly, was the final battle like Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta? I guess now they would do someone different if that was the case, but unfortunately he said that's not really a thing anymore. But personally I'm not shocked by that. Back then they had to really spice it up because there was no online, so I'm not surprised they got rid of that. But I mean, we have custom battles, and I would have said that even if he didn't say what I'm about to mention, but yeah, he did mention that you can kind of recreate it in custom battles, sort of. And yeah, obviously it won't be to the extent of Mission 100, like that whole 100 survival thing, but I mean, you can still get the same kind of vibe. And if you're not putting weaklings against you, you could probably still get the same difficulty really. I mean, you're not going to put Cyberman against you in your custom what if you're trying to get that sort of challenge, you know? Especially if you're raising the difficulty, which I think is a thing, I can't remember. But yeah, they mentioned how you can still set a significant number of enemies. And interestingly, he mentioned that they were debating amongst themselves if they should bring back the old mode or not for quite a while. But ultimately they came to the conclusion that bonus battles, which I think is he's referring to custom battles, the custom what ifs, will result in more of a variety. And I guess that's understandable. I guess that's also another way of saying that they don't need it because they have the bonus battles or what if battles. So that's fair enough. I mean, especially if you can kind of recreate the same vibe. Now last but definitely not least, because I've seen Twitter, everyone's been angry, and I've been accused of being too critical of the game, like in recent comments in my recent videos. One of my videos blew up, which I'm grateful for, but some people weren't happy with me criticizing the game. Guys, I'm saying this because I love Dragon Ball. I love this game already. It's not even out yet, and I just want it to be great. And obviously we're nitpicking here, but this is something that I do have to address. I feel like people are overreacting a little bit, but at the same time I understand talking about it, and that is the character selection interface. So if in case you're like unaware, or if you're just someone that doesn't care about this, which fair enough, it's the character select screen. It's not going to affect your gameplay, and I feel like once the game is out you won't care, especially like maybe when you see the character select screen here and there you'll be like, oh, it doesn't look good. But as soon as you choose your character, you're literally not going to care, you're not going to think about it at all. So it shouldn't affect your hype for the game or your gameplay experience. But in case you're unaware, people have been talking about how the character select screen is very overly bloated. For example, there's like screenshots where it's like 10 rows of just Goku and Vegeta, because they've made it so it looks like each form of each like Goku and Vegeta is a separate character slot. And I should put some images on screen to give you an idea, but I am looking at one right now, and it's taking up like, it's just Gohan, Vegeta and Goku taking up like, yeah, I just counted, it's taking up 25 slots, and I just realized that's not even all of them. Like, it doesn't even show Ultimate Gohan, I think. So that is crazy. It doesn't even show Ultra Instinct Goku. That's crazy. So there's like 30 slots of just Goku, Gohan and Vegeta. What I feel like they should have done is, if you hover over like Goku, you can then go on to like other forms if you want to choose a specific form from the start of the match, because you can transform into the characters mid-match, or you can start from like Super Saiyan 2 or Super Saiyan God Red or Blue. But yeah, they decided to make it extra slot, and it's also extra bloated because keep in mind, it's not like there's just one Goku and then each of his forms. There's Goku early, mid, end of Z, super. Same for Vegeta and Gohan, and then like Teen Gohan, Adult Gohan, all that stuff. And again the DLC Superhero Gohan. And even Piccolo has different variations now. We got Piccolo of Kami, and then we're gonna get the Superhero Piccolo. So it is very bloated. I believe people were saying, I think it was like Raging Blast 2 or something, where if you just hover over them, it then gives you the options. Yeah, it should have been like that. But unfortunately, based on what I'm about to tell you about the interview, it doesn't seem like it's gonna change even once the game comes out. Because we were hoping that this was just for the demo, the Gamescom like playable demos and stuff like that. It doesn't seem to be the case. So yeah, it says, in reality, Furutani confirmed that in the final game, the menu dedicated to the roster of the fighters will not be very different from what we have seen so far. Something that will turn up more than a few noses, and that is for damn sure. But I mean, he did say like it won't be very different. Maybe they could change it a little, but I don't know. I mean, maybe he could make it so that Goku is like for example, if you just click Goku, you can at least hover over him and then have like Goku early, mid, Z. But then again, that wouldn't work either, because each of those has different forms and those are taking up the slot. So yeah, I'm not gonna lie guys, it doesn't look like we're gonna get that fixed. Maybe they'll do something, but overall it looks like that won't be fixed. But honestly guys, I feel like everyone's overreacting just a little to that. Like, I literally saw a tweet saying their hype for the game has significantly been lowered because of that. I feel like they're just blowing things way out of proportion, but maybe that's just me. Let me know what you think down below. But to summarize, and honestly the article did a pretty good summary. The good stuff is lots of great like throwbacks and details for fans. I mean, the tournament mode is returning and with different variations. The doubts, how varied and interesting will the other single player options be. I mean, they gave rid of mission 100, but then again we're getting custom battles, so I feel that's not an issue. The other big issue, the doubt, is the character menu not really impressing us, but we'll see. But that is about it for this video, and I want you guys to comment down below what you think. And do you think I'm like undervaluing how deep this is? Like, is this really a big issue? Do comment down below. And also, I am really trying to hit 1000 subs as soon as possible, hopefully by October, but maybe that's too good to be true. But maybe it will happen, because you could help me right now for free by hitting that sub button down below and having some faith, because who knows, maybe one day I'll be a big channel and you can say you're an OG on my journey, the first 1000. But with that said, I've been your boy Kaizen. Check out my videos on screen now. I do videos on Sparking Zero, Bleach Rebirth of Souls, and I even have some other gameplay like I just posted with fighterz recently. And also follow my social in the description below, like my Twitter specifically and my Twitch. With that said, I've been your boy Kaizen, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.